All right, good afternoon or good evening. Happy Sunday. Welcome everyone to Literature Academy Ask the Expert. My name is Tamara and I'm the manager of Literature Academy. And I'm just super excited to be here this afternoon. There is so much to be thankful for. And I am always excited to know that you all are spending your Sunday evenings with us, focused on your finances, focused on your mindset. And of course, tonight we're focusing on your business and your future if that is something that you're working on right now. So I'm going to allow you guys some time to come into the room. Come into the room, as Tiffany would say, she starts singing the Dream Builders Room to just make sure you guys can hear us properly this evening. So if you are a newbie, while everyone is getting settled, let me know if you are brand new to the Academy or if you are an OG. That's what we call all of our folks that's been here since 2016 and so on. So as you guys are getting settled, I would love to hear if you're new or if you are one of the OGs of the Academy. And I am super excited to share who we have joining us tonight as an expert. She is a friend of the Academy. She's been with us before. And for those of you who are OGs, you're probably in her network as well, because she is just that marvelous and epic in everything that she does. So let me allow you guys time to come in. And I think my comments are on a delay today. So let me see who we have. All right, T Sunshine, she says, I'm an old newbie. Okay, I know what that means. That means you've been a while, but you're refreshing, coming back. All right, Dawn, newbie. A spoonful of soul. I love that. I need all of that right now. I love that that name you have there. So for those of you who are brand spanking new and are probably trying to tune in for the first time, what I want you to do is underneath your video, if you clicked on the link to join the Academy and you're just watching me in the video, I want you to click under that button where it says join the live discussion. Go ahead and click on that link and that will bring you into this room so that you can participate in the live chat as well. So we have a lot of newbies tonight. And once again, if you're just jumping in, I might be a new face to you. You're probably used to seeing Tiffany if you're brand new. My name is Tamara and I'm the manager of Literature Academy and I'm going to guide you all tonight for tonight's Ask the Expert session. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So tonight's session is your business blueprint, right? And what we're focusing on is when and where to pivot in your brand. So if you are an entrepreneur or a future entrepreneur and you are focusing on building an audience or rebuilding your business and your brand, you are in the right place tonight. So I want to introduce to you, and before I even do her intro, I'm just going to give her a moment to show her face because I've been hogging up the screen. Hey, Aprille.
Hey.
So Aprille is a master business coach. She's joined us before for Inspire Her series, which is a series that we do quarterly. We've only had, I think, 4 people come in and speak to you all to just bring life and energy into your business and into your souls as you join us. So at the bottom of this session, you'll be able to click on that link to watch that if you just need to feel empowered and get a little inspiration. But Aprille is a master business coach, and her mission is really to empower women through leveraging entrepreneurship. She coaches women, leaders, subject matter experts, coaches, and speakers looking to be empowered economically to create a life with more options, to be a contribution to her family and society. And I mean, honestly, I can go on and on and on. She is a blessing to many, and I'm really excited about bringing her to you all tonight. So, Aprille, you want to talk a little bit about this topic and why you're presenting it tonight?
Sure. First of all, thanks, Tamara. Thanks to all the Live Richer folks. Thanks, Tiffany, as well for having me. Yeah, so tonight really is just about wait a minute, did you say talk about me or talk about what I'm going to teach?
What you're going to teach.
Okay. So tonight, really, we're talking about the business blueprint. And what I'm finding right now is that people are really scattered. People are at home. They have some new ideas and things that they want to get off the ground. And then there's people that's in that 1, 2, 3 year of their brand and business, and they haven't been moving a lot of traction. And even now with the current climate, people are kind of grasping and kind of all over the place a little bit. So I want to kind of use tonight to bring some order in their business process and walking them through these varying components of and this is kind of the introductory version, but walking them through those components of being clear on their business model, being clear with their branding and the things that they need to be paying attention to right now so that they can continue to be a success and build the momentum. So I'm really excited about this conversation. This is probably one of my more popular things that I like to talk about, which is really establishing the order that we need in order to be a success and to reach the people we're looking to reach.
Awesome. So it looks like the dream builders are super excited. I'm seeing all of the comments coming in, and I'm just happy that you all are here. So if you haven't already, I want you to grab a pen and a notepad because she's going to drop some gems. I'm warning you now. And then also what I'm about to share with you all is a workbook that she's going to share with you tonight. So let me grab that really quick. You guys can go ahead and it's inside of the comment section. You can go ahead and download that so that you can follow along. But more importantly, if you're not able to download this session or this workbook right now, it is absolutely okay. Because again, you can always watch this as a replay. We will also have the link inside of the Academy for you to quickly access, but at minimum, grab a pen and a notepad. So I'm giving you a few minutes to get that right now. Hey, Sherry, she says, I'm an old school renewing myself. I love it. And we're happy you're here. So when you guys have your pen and paper ready, I want you to say ready in the comments. And then Aprille is going to go ahead and get this show started so we can make major progress in our business, right? The link is not working. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, it got connected with the Bitly and the Dropbox. They just need a Dropbox.
Oh, I see. All right, so go ahead and try the link that I just dropped now. And Rodrika, it's right above your name. You can go ahead and click on that link for the workbook. All right, Sherry says ready, so that means the link is working. So Aprille, I'm gonna go ahead and have you jump right into it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much again. So thanks so much for tuning in tonight, or whenever it is that you're actually tuning into this. So one of the things I want to talk about, first of all, is just to give you some context, is I am a master business coach. I've worked primarily with female speakers, subject matter experts, other life and business coaches, and our whole goal is to help people build their communities, launch their products and services, and scale their businesses to multiple 6 or 7 figures. So typically the people that I work with are people that really want a lifestyle change, the women that are looking to change their lifestyle and not just do necessarily side hustle business. While side hustles might be a good thing right now, but really you're wanting to build a legacy, you're wanting to build something that is sustainable and that you can operate from anywhere around the world. And as we see, there's so many people being innovative and creative in how they're reaching out to their clients, their customers, their audience base. And so I would love to know in the comments what type of business or brand or idea you currently have. So if you are an entrepreneur, please let us know, what it is that you do. That will give me just some good fuel to make sure that I'm speaking to some of your specific industries. That will be great. So if you are a coach, let me know. If you're a speaker, let me know. If you own a beauty shop, let me know in the comments. That'll be very helpful. So your business blueprint, this is what you would have gotten. This is my printed ratty copy here that I have, that I flip through all the time, right? So this is what you're looking for. In it, we're going to go ahead and flip to the first page. Now I'm going to share my screen to show you the digital version, obviously, but just make sure you print it off. I'm really tactile, so I like to hold on to paper. So before we jump into the first component, the reason why this is, I see insurance broker, nutrition coach, YouTuber. So I see all these varying things. And so this is very important. I think a lot of times people get very connected to simply doing the one thing that they're doing, but we have to remember that there's all these varying components of your business. And a lot of times, especially in this climate, people are very attached to building a brand, right? And so while it is important to build a brand, what we want to make sure that we're always doing is that we understand that there is a business, and then the brand, and then then you brand the business, right? And so some of the different companies here, I see someone says I sell accessories and scholarships, physical therapists, just learning entrepreneurship, starting a candle business, tutoring online, started my YouTube channel, insurance broker, health and fitness coach, social media manager. Yes, we're in the right place. Come on. Publishing company, nurse practitioner with a telemedicine practice. All right, now, Devin, shout out to all of our first responders and our essential workers, especially our healthcare workers right now, fine art. So there's varying components, t-shirt businesses. So all of these businesses need a solid foundation. And here's the truth. The truth is, around any business, you want to make sure that you have several components in place. And that's what I want to walk through in the workbook. Now, what I'll let you know is this is going to be the light version. So we're going to get deep and heavy, but this is going to be deep and heavy light for me. There is an extended training that we will also give to you in Tamara will provide those resources. So I just want to let you know that. So in case you feel overwhelmed as I'm going through some of the content, don't, right? There is definitely access to a further deeper explanation. So let's get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen, so we can be on the same page. So here is your business blueprint. I'm going to flip. There's my bio if you need it. So I'm going to just kind of talk you through some of these components. So at the top of the business blueprint, when you get it, I want you to make sure that you write down the name of your business or brand. And I want you to notice, and the reason why we created this within our company is because it's necessary for you to treat your business like it is a brick and mortar, like you do have all of these varying departments, just like your job or the company you used to work for, right? There's all these different departments. Now, sometimes, and probably in most cases, entrepreneurs are almost doing all of it, right? So if you look at this and you're saying, man, I got to keep up with the structure and the branding and the products and the operations and the marketing and the monetization, go ahead and type a number 1 in the chat. Go ahead and type a number 1 in the chat if you're doing 4 or more of these roles. If you're doing 4 or more of these things, if you're the end all be all to it all, then type in definitely a number 1 in the comments, because I want you to see that you are not alone in it, and that there's so many different entrepreneurs that are also juggling a lot of departments, right? But this is just a visual for you to really see that you're really already doing a lot, right? And how can we help you with that? The other things we see on this page, on the blueprint pages, there's a little box at the bottom. It says room for expansion. So when you see room for expansion, you see there's 3 lines, and that just simply means that there's other things you want to add, right? So if there's other things that you're going to want to add, so you may say, you know what, I want to do this, or I want to do that. You know, there may be some expansion there. And that's just to kind of leave that space open for you in case there's someone here that says, oh my gosh, but this isn't all there is. There's always room for expansion. So we start, as you can see in the blueprint, with the business structure, branding, the product department, the operations department, the marketing department, and the monetization department. And so what this blueprint does is walk you through each of these things. And it's really meant to be a checklist for you to really leverage the checks and balances to make sure that you're on point. Because a lot of times people want to skip to monetization when their branding isn't tight, and then they're wondering why they're not converting. They want to skip to product creation when their business structure isn't correct on how they're really going to automate the process for that, right? Or they just want to skip to marketing when their operations is in shambles. And that really just doesn't work for a systematized, predictable business, because your revenue should be predictable. You should be able to predict that if you do X, that X happens, right? And that's really where you want to be in your brand. You want to know that if I do X, that this is the most probable result that I'm going to get, right? And so right now, people are looking for a lot of ways how they can generate money right now. And there are a few things that I'll drop on that before we go. But as you can see in the chat, there's a lot of people doing all of the things. And so how can we best manage all of the things so we can get to that monetization, so that those products do make sense to our market? And so that's what we want to talk about tonight. So in the business structure, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I want to spend a lot more time in the marketing, operations, branding departments. But the business structure, this is a list of things that you want to make sure that you have your own checks and balances on in regards to your business classification, When does your business actually renew? Because what we're finding right now at the time of this training is that there are lots of opportunities for entrepreneurs due to the stimulus, due to Small Business Administration, due to grants and other things that are available to you as a small business owner. But so many small businesses don't have their businesses actually developed or intact and don't qualify, even though you may need those things. So having your business structure together is really important, right? So that you are legitimate and that you're able to take advantage of whatever is out there for small business owners, because you do fall in that category. And so this is just a checklist. Do you have an actual business phone number? Why would you need an actual business phone number? Because if you were gonna set up business credit where your business is actually supplied credit as opposed to you personally, you actually have to have a number that could be 411, right? And if do you have an operating agreement? Do you have an actual business bank account that is not connected necessarily to your social security number? So all these varying things. And when we look at your business team, do you have an attorney or legal service? Do you have a bookkeeper or tax preparer? So these are things that if you don't have set up today, that you know that you should, right? That you can check those things off and you can scribble on here and say, okay, listen, I don't have that yet, but I know I need to. And then you can plan for it. So that's important. So again, I don't want to spend a lot of time there. I want to spend more time on the branding, the marketing, because that's where people get hung up a lot. And again, this is the blueprint, and the purpose of it is to walk you through to make sure that what you're creating is going to be something that is sustainable, because that's what everybody needs right now is sustainability, right? Sustainability in your structure, sustainability in your operations, sustainability in your impact that you're making for your clients, your customers, your audience, and sustainability in your income. Right? And so when we look at your brand, some of the things that are very important that I want you to recognize, and let me know if let me know in the log if I'm on the money. I want you to hashtag on the money, right? If I'm giving you good stuff and this is working for you and you like, dang, I didn't even know that, then let me know, hashtag on the money, because that's definitely where building these building blocks leads you to. The only reason we've been able to create multiple 7 figures in our business is because we had to get the structure and the automation together, right? The structure and the automation had to be together, right? And that is a constant improvement process, right? And so on the branding, something that you want to make sure that you have, and we spend a lot of time with this with our audience, and that is making sure you understand what your core values is, because every corporation emphasizes and develops those core values, because those values that you hold and your company, your brand holds, more than likely is the same thing that your audience is going to hold. That's how we're all connected. We're all connected through our core values. That's why whoever you voted for because they probably have your values. That's why our current president, people may wonder, whatever side you're on, man, he really does do some outlandish things. But the truth of the matter is, the people that voted for him, they share the same values. It's the same reason why people can turn the other cheek and see that a person is doing something wrong, but still support them, because it is about the core value. It is about that core belief. Simply just like you can love your auntie or your uncle, but they may cuss you out every Thanksgiving, but you still love them, because at the bottom, at the end of the day, you still all share the same core values, right? The next thing is you want to be clear on these several things when you're trying to identify your avatar. And this is how, when you are connecting with who you're wanting to be attracted to your brand, who you're wanting to opt in, who you're wanting to follow you, who you're wanting to share your information, who you're wanting to click that specific link, then you want to make sure that number one, the first 3 to 5 pain points, the problems that they have that you solve. Now, for some of you who are advanced and you're generating $10,000 or more in your business, you may say, I already know this, but it's good to be reinforced in the brand. And if you're already generating $10,000 a month or more in your business, you also know that your brand evolves and shifts. As you evolve and shift as a business owner and as a leader, so does your audience and your expectations of them, right? The more you know, the more they also grow. And so make sure that you can identify 3 to 5 things, because the only reason your brand exists is so that you can solve problems. For example, if I didn't, and it's funny because I actually have up our brand document, If I didn't know my audience's problems and why they needed me, they would have no use for me. If Live Richer Academy couldn't identify what your challenges were or are with maintaining that financial fortitude, really budgeting, really improving your credit and all the other amazing things that they teach, if they couldn't identify what your challenges are, you wouldn't be here, right? And so it's important for you to know those out of the gate. And then understand and know the characteristics and we call them the DIMS and the psychographics. It's all the things, it's the interest and the income ranges and the ages and the things that your audience spends money on. These are things that are very important for you to know. Why? Because casting a net doesn't work. And as you've probably heard, there's riches and niches, right? There is riches and niches. And so when you can really specify, similar to dating, ladies, all y'all know what kind of man you want, or woman, depending on what you into. You all know what type of mate you want. You can spell it out. This is the same thing. You should equally be as knowledgeable and as in tune with your target audience. I call it an avatar, as you would someone that you wanted to share space with, someone you want to share dinner with, someone you want to share your life with. You should equally know. You should know after a conversation, after a minute or two, if that person is the ideal client for you and if you're able to help them or not. So these things are very important. And then you want to name it. So as you can see, it says brand avatar, name, pain points, characteristics. You want to name that person. So within our tribe, my avatar is Tamara. I know exactly who she is. I know exactly what her challenges are. I know exactly how I can help her. And I know exactly why she should choose us, right? And you want to be that definitive and why. That leads me to my next component. It leads me to how you connect your brand stories with your avatar. Now, again, I told you all that this was going to be deep but light, right? It's deep but light. So I'm hitting these hot spots that I want you to really be paying attention to. And then I want you to make sure that you come back and listen to the replay or get those after materials for a more in-depth explanation, okay? Because I want you to know I'm not trying to leave you hanging, but there's a lot to cover. So once you know who that is, then you want to start connecting those brand stories, right? You want to start connecting those brand stories with your audience, because that's what's going to connect them. And make a sidebar in your notes. Okay, let's make a sidebar in your notes. Go ahead, write sidebar. Just because people need what you have and it makes sense, that is not a buying indication. So sometimes you're like, but this makes sense. They need this. I'm a health coach. They say they're unhealthy. They might need to lose a few pounds. They may have high cholesterol. Everyone needs to be healthy. So this should be an easy decision. I should not have to work this hard to get them to click the link. Lies. Lies. That is your ego tricking you, honey. That could not be further from the truth. That is not how business is done. Connection. The more you know, the better you can connect. So what does that look like? So I'm about to give you in about 2 minutes, an 8-month training on brand stories. So I need y'all to pull your big girl panties on up and get ready, because I'm about to tell you exactly how you can connect. And this will save so many of you from wasting so much social time on talking about nothing to connect with your audience. Are we ready? Okay. Now, from a brand story perspective, here's what I want you to do. First of all, I want you to listen and tune out whatever's around you, because I can only say this one time. I want you to divide your life up into increments of 10 years. So that's birth to 10 years old. That's 11 to 20, right? That's 21 to 30. That's 31 to 40, and keep going based on your age. I want you then to, in each of those decades, I want you to write down the three, not during right now, you're going to do this later. You're going to write down the 3 most compelling things that occurred to you in that time. So one of the most compelling things that happened to me in between the ages of 31 and 40 was I got fired and went bankrupt when I was 32 years old. I got fired, ended a relationship, went bankrupt, and Did I say I had a foreclosure? All of that in 2007. I was 30-ish, right? That's a compelling instance. So the instance is as long as a tweet. It doesn't need to be longer than a sentence, right? So you're going to name that instance. Now, what do you do with the instance? So now you have 3 instances between 0 and 10. You got 3 between 11 and 20. You got 3 between 21 and 30, and so on. So you've named them, you've written them out. Now what do we do with them? You go back to and look through all of them, and then you draw out the top 5 most compelling stories. The top 5 most compelling instances, and those top 5, you will then elaborate on the story. You could do that on one single document. Not now, but when you get off of here. And now let's go a little bit deeper. We got about 30 more seconds on this part. So again, you divided your life up into years of 10. For each decade, you put the top 3 compelling instances, whether it was traumatic, happy, it doesn't matter. The word was compelling, not trauma. Sometimes trauma is compelling, right? But it doesn't have to be sad, but it could be. And then you looked at all of them and you said, okay, these are the top 5 most compelling things out of all of them. And you put all of those 5 to the side. You looked at those 5 and then you wrote a paragraph for each one of them just to elaborate a little bit on the story. All of that still can fit on a page or 2. And then you looked at each of them and you asked yourself, for each of the stories that you've identified, you said, what are the feelings, lessons, and outcomes for each one of these things? Again, what are the feelings, lessons, and outcomes for each one of these stories? Again, you had a lot of instances. You drew from the instances and you picked the top 5 compelling ones, and then you turn those into little bitty short paragraph, few sentence stories just to elaborate on. For example, the reason why I went bankrupt is because I got fired, right? So I got fired. I could tell the story. My boss came in, she sat down, she was teary-eyed, she said the words, I cried, blah, blah, blah. That's the story. Now, what is the feeling associated with that story? I was embarrassed. I was humiliated. I felt like a failure, right? What were the lessons that I learned? Well, one of the biggest lessons was to be a better steward of my finances. And this was in 2007. So this was many years ago, 13 years ago. A better steward of my money because I wouldn't have been blindsided. Who here has felt blindsided? Who here is blindsided? And then what are the outcomes? Now, why is this important? These brand stories to connect with your avatar. Remember, they don't care about your meeting 3 times a week on this platform. They care about what are you going to do for them? And how does what you're saying relate to them to get their attention? Because there's a zillion business coaches. There's a gazillion financial gurus. There's a gazillion health coaches. There's a gazillion authors. There's a gazillion of everything, right? It's the stories that connect. So when you want to elicit a story around humiliation, but the outcome is X, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking to show your audience a light on the other side, but you relate to them based on what those feelings, those lessons, and the outcomes they need are. And that's how you identify the brand stories. And it's lesson, LESSON. You can say blessings if you want to, but that could be that's a part of it too. All right. So that's what you want to be clear on, right? Most people don't have a brand story. And you may find a what we call a brand story of origin. So from the 5, there may be one that is like, it's the story you tell because it's the most connected story to your avatar. So you see how we started with all these instances, then we moved into the top 5 stories that you can share in different components of your brand and your messaging when's necessary. And then you pulled out a story of origin. So this in the branding class, I can't spend too much time on it, but I hope that helps you. Also, then to identify what your brand promise is. So what are you promising, right? So our brand is that we're helping women launch their services and strengthen economic backing through entrepreneurship, period. It's very simple. I want women to live a new type of life because entrepreneurship was the catalyst. And the way we do that is through working with the people that I named, right? Experts, coaches, authors, those individuals. And how we do that is through helping them build their audience, launch their products and services, and scale through partnerships, so on and so forth. So that's the how. So you want to make sure that you know what your brand promise is, because your only job is to fulfill it. You see how simple this is? Once you start the building, then you get this stuff out of the way. You see how we had initially the business structure. Now we're clear on the brand. We know what we're saying to people before we start creating stuff. Because you don't really know if what you're creating is what they need, because you got to be connected to what they need, what their pain points are before we start to create. See, creation is a trick of the ego. Creation will have you thinking that you're a success when you're really struggling financially in the business to get clients. Showing up is also a trick of your ego. Sometimes people are like, you just got to show up. That's not true. People show up every day, and most people are not generating revenue in their business that will sustain their lifestyle. So we want to make sure that we're clear here. The next thing is understanding, and some of this I'm going to skip because it's a lot. The reason why we put visual branding at the end is because a lot of times, did you see that? Did you guys notice that visual branding is at the end, and the very first thing in branding was core values, then avatar, the name of your avatar, the pain points, the characteristics, the brand stories, right? The lessons, the brand promise, the clarity on your message, naming conventions, brand business model, which we're not going over right now. Visuals at the end. Why? Because that is the last thing. But it's often the first thing that people run to because it seems like the easiest thing. Let me run over to Fiverr and get a logo. Let me get my brother to build me a website. Let me pay this branding coach to do this. Without really understanding what the brand, what the fiber of it is about. And if you just spend this weekend or the next couple of days on just section 2.0, I'm telling you, you're going to have such a higher level of clarity. And then it makes those other things really pop. And you start to get more aligned. Okay. So I see the comments. Listen, I'm I'm working as fast as I can over here. I want to make sure I give y'all the goods. Okay, so let's talk about now. Let's move into, so here we are. You can still see my little camera face. So we're on now. We're going to products. Don't look at my nails. We on home. We got homestay nails right now. So we got stay at home nails, okay, for the rest of the month. So products, so let's talk about that, right? Your products and your services. And again, you can interchange products with services. You can put whatever you need here. But what I really want you to take away from 3.0 on products and services or your offers is be clear on what you're selling, right? So write that down. Be clear on what I am selling. And sometimes you have lots of things, but selling none, right? And sometimes you have a thing, but you're not selling, or sometimes you're trying to sell it and it's not working. Well, a lot of times we need to really get clear now that we know who our avatar is and we're kind of in bed with them, so to speak. We know what makes them tick. Then it's definitely, oh, someone said, what was the saying, creation of the ego? I was saying that showing up is a trick of the ego, and creation is the trick of the ego. And what I mean by that, and please don't take that out of context, what I mean by that is some people, maybe you, maybe not, get caught up in creation and feeling accomplished because they created, but they never make any money. So you can go January, 0 income, February, $1,000, March, 0 income, April, 0 income. And I'm talking about from your business, not your job, for those of you who are working, doing both. And that creation sometimes gives people that feeling like they succeeded when in actuality, the business didn't make any money and they never even launched the product or service, right? So that's not everyone's story, but I coach thousands of people and it's 80% of the story. So let's get back to 3.0. And then Tamara, if you can keep me on time, please, because I'm not good at that. So when you look at the 3.0 and we say, okay, as you can see, it says the very first box says, based on the pain points, you should be clear that you need an ascension product ladder of cures, right? So cures is just offers. What is going to cure the pain? Now, let me say this, and please don't get me wrong. You don't have to have lots of products and services. You could have one winner. The key right now and today is to decide, right? Live Richer Academy, that's a product. And in it, it has tons of things, right, that you get to take advantage of. So I just don't want people to, I don't want anyone to mistake what I'm saying. If this is your model, and in your model to deliver on your promise, your audience and your customers, clients need to ascend. That means start at a place and work themselves up the ladder. Then you will have an ascension ladder. If your model is similar to a membership model or some product that you're selling, then an ascension may not be the case. The idea here is to be clear on what that is. Okay. So for those of you, I saw many servicepreneurs. I see that I see a lot of coaches and different things. So I'll speak to that. You may have a high-end offer, a mid-tier offer, an entry-level offer. You may have a lower price digital offer, right? You may have live events that are inclusive of workshops or conferences or retreats, whether they're virtual or not, right? So you get to decide what that is. The key here is to know what your product suite looks like and then to identify that. So let's just go into offer number one and identify it. So offer number one, as I've identified, is an entry offer. And let's say that's your only offer. If it's your only, scratch out offer number one and put only, or scratch off offer 2 and 3. If for those of you know that you're going to need an ascension, meaning you don't have to have it created today, but you just may know, you know what, I know they're going to need a mastermind, or I know they're going to need a bigger thing later. But you're still working. The power in mastering a thing is so imperative right now. You don't have to be all over the place. You can have a winning horse, right? You don't have to have a pack. And so if we look at offer number one, here is just a snapshot. It says evergreen or live launch cycle. And all that means is, when are you launching it? Has it already launched? Are you selling it? What's the lead magnet or the freebie that's going to lead to that offer? Do you have the automation set up for the above offer? Do you have a landing page? Do you have a thank you page? Does it need a campaign map? Do you have nurture emails? So this is just to highlight for you the things that you need to be thinking about, right? And executing on. Okay, so I don't want to belabor this. So again, that top part is just asking the question. Let's get more clear on your offers. It's simply asking you a deeper question and saying, so what is it? What are you selling? And then I'll sidebar that with make sure you know what your money goals are, which we'll get to hopefully here shortly. Operations, I won't spend a lot of time on. Operations 4.0, what's your productivity tool? Do you have a team and who's on it? Do you need marketing automation? The answer is yes, especially right now where everyone is online. So for those of you who have been, tiptoeing and playing around and dipping in here and not taking things seriously, this is the time. For those of you who have been on it, then this is the time to even be more fortified in what you already know to be true. And what you already know to be true. I'm going to skip the word calendar, the day method, and I'm going to skip the calendar booking. And I'm going to talk about the day method in a second. So calendar booking, all that simply means is, do you need a calendar booking system? And if you do, there are some options. And there's more. Feel free to do your due diligence. These are just our faves. As far as marketing automation, we utilize Entreport, but there's tons of them. But you need something to send emails, to communicate with your audience, to create pages, and to communicate, to offer specific things. So you'll have to look into those things. Now, calendar the day method, and this is under operations, it's because that's how I operate. So the day method means I do certain things on certain days. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I coach. Wednesdays is no appointments. Mondays is all meetings, right? Fridays is my catch-up day with people that I want to build relationships with. I do one Saturday a month. In this case, I'm doing more just because everyone now is at home. So we've shifted a lot to virtual platforms. And so that is the idea here, is for you to make sure that you're streamlining your operations. Now, sidebar, at your job where you used to work or are working, they had all of these things in place. But in entrepreneurship, people are like, oh, I could just sleep in. I want freedom. Well, baby, you got to build freedom. Freedom don't come with the decision. The decision that just enacted you into some more work. Freedom comes in the development of the business, right? It comes in the development of the business, okay? And a lot of times, the reason why you see people winning and they're really successful, and some of you all may fit into that, and some of you all may just be getting into it. I saw some people say, I'm just getting started, is because you're treating it like a corporation. If you treat your business like you're a solopreneur, you're gonna struggle. You got to treat it like you're in one of these big buildings somewhere, and you walk in and everybody's moving around. Hello, Mrs. So-and-so. I'm gonna use I Am Power. Hello, I Am Power. Hi, Miss I Am Power. Would you like your coffee today? Hi, Miss I Am Power. Did you see that report from Jimmy? Hi, Miss I Am Power. I'll have that on your desk by 4 p.m. That should be your visualization, that you're building something greater than you that's employing others. And when you think of it that way, every day when you wake up, your whole swag around your business will shift, right? It will shift. This worksheet right here, once you print out the blueprints, will help you begin to delegate. And we call this our CEO delegation report. We call this our CEO delegation report. So you want to write down all of the tasks that is currently happening in the business. And then you want to write down who is doing it now. Chances are your name is going to be on and popping on this sheet, right? But then in column 3, you want to write down who should be doing it. So should that be a freelancer? Should that be an admin? Should that be some other service provider? Should that be an employee that you're going to hire at a later date? And then you want to pass off that goal. You want to move into that pass off date and write down that goal. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Parker and Parker. You're going to write that goal down, right, of that date. Like, listen, I'm doing this for 90 days. Right? You giving yourself, you like, my name is on too many of these things. I have got to scale up in my business, right? I've got to scale up in my business. So that is operations 4.0. So let's move into marketing and advertising. So this is really a big component here, okay? So let's everybody breathe just for a minute, because I know this is a lot of information. But we're all big girls. We all run households, right? We run our communities, so we got this. When it comes to marketing, remember, this is 5.0. Before this, we were clear on our operations. And before this, we were clear with what we're selling. And before that, we were clear on our branding. And before that, we were clear what type of business structure we had. And so now we're looking at the ways that we can diversify how we connect with our audience. And let me just tell you, one of the biggest reasons why small businesses fail is because they don't have business. And especially in this tricky day of social media, it makes it seem like if you post something, people are going to buy it. That's not how marketing works. You do have to spend money to attract more people. Now, when do you need to spend money to attract more people? This is the answer to that question. I want y'all to write this down. Every time you ask yourself in relation to marketing, do I have to, you fill in the blank, do I have to run Facebook ads? Do I have to write articles? Do I have to send emails? Do I have to leverage the media? Do I have to be a guest on podcasts? Do I have to collaborate with others? Do I have to? Anytime, lady girl bosses, you ask yourself, do I have to, or how often should I? Fill in the blank with this. If you want a bigger reach than you currently have, the answer is yes. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. The answer is, if you want and or need a bigger reach than you currently have, the answer is yes. Period. Because what's happening, and let's look at this like Miracle Grow, okay? We got 2 plants, one over here, one over here. This plant over here, let me find some. Give them a little Raycon, a little Ray J ear thingies. Okay, so we got this over here. So this is a plant, there's the seed. We're not doing anything special to it, we just watering it, it's getting some sunlight. Over here, we have this other thing, right? So we have two things. I'm gonna use something bigger. Let me use this, okay? So we planted both of the things at the same time. This is getting regular sunlight and water. This is getting sunlight, water, and Miracle-Gro. And Miracle-Gro. So let's not be babypreneurs and ask that question ever again. The answer is, this will still grow. This will grow faster, period. This is how it works. This is the advantage. It's not that you won't make money organically here, it will just be slower. You want more money, pour Miracle-Gro on the seed. Pour Miracle-Gro on the seed. Everyone has the advantage. It's how we're utilizing our resources. How are we utilizing our resources? You want to grow a business, you have to grow a business. Chances are you are in Literature Academy because you saw an ad someplace on the internet. Why? Because the Budgetnista Literature Academy, Tamara, they wanted to reach you. They wanted to get in front of you. Well, they would have reached many before and have, but Miracle-Gro reaches more. It gets the vision out more quickly. It enables the brand to help more people faster, and it enables your brand to increase your income more quickly. Okay, so marketing and advertising. There's digital marketing, right? Which is all of these things that we're already familiar with as business owners. You just may not be leveraging right now. Offline marketing. Offline marketing, there's varying ways of offline marketing. The key here is to identify if offline marketing strategies is a part of your strategy. Your monthly marketing budget. So for example, let me just gut check you real quick with love. Someone may say, I have a goal to make $20,000 a month. Great. How much money are you willing to put up to make $20,000 a month? $25,000 a month. How much are you willing to invest every month to make that happen? And then let's say, I want to say Susie Q. Susie Q says $50. And I'm going to say, go sit down. Go to the naughty corner. Because $50 is not going to get you $25,000 a month. We've got to be more realistic than that, right? So you're going to make sure that your expectation, that your input matches your expectation. Your input of money invested, your input of action taken, your input of consistency. No pipe dreams up in here in Live Richer Academy, right? We're trying to live what? Richer. In every way, from a holistic standpoint. I definitely say 15 to 20% and more if you can. If you're yielding the results, it makes sense. If you put in $100 and you get back $150, $1,000, excuse me, you put in $100 and you get back $1,000, $1,500, $1,200, that's great returns, right? But it varies in every industry, it varies. In every industry, it varies. And the only way to know is to try, is to do it, is to test it. There is no surefire number. You have to put your money in, do the testing, get a result, tweak this and that, and then get that refined so that you're reaching the right people and maximizing your marketing dollars. So I want you to write here, what are your top, it says Q1 business objectives. Well, we're already in Q2. We're at the top of Q2 at the time of this. So whatever quarter it is for you as you're taking this class, what are your top 3 objectives for this quarter or the next quarter? So right now, what are your top 3 business objectives? And then let's tie our marketing activities to meet those objectives. And then let's look at the social platforms that we're going to hone in on. So it may just be Facebook, or it could just be Instagram, or it could be both, right? Or it could be neither and just YouTube. But the idea here is for you to ask and answer the question and then put into motion what's necessary. Okay. And then you can go through marketing intentions on your own. Right? Just breathe through that. I see the comments. Y'all are blowing it up. I'm glad that this is good food for you. And again, under marketing intentions, this talks about the different vehicles that will deliver the message. This talks about ads and all these different things. Are you going to be using email marketing, and are you going to be using messenger or text message? Again, all of these things are simply to ask you, to put in front of you that it's available to you, and then you to say yes or no. If you say yes, then it's your job, lady girl boss, to then say, okay, let me learn how to do this, or let me hire someone to do this. Because what's happening is people are just remiss. They're like, oh, I don't really need that. No, you need that. You got to pick one. You got to communicate and be connected to your audience, because if you don't, someone else will. Right? If you don't, someone else will. On the money snapshot, so we're moving out of 5.0 into 6.0. And I simply want you, and you can work on this worksheet on your own. I simply want you to write down your goals. What's your revenue goal for the year, for this year? What was it? On December 31st, what was your year? What was your revenue goal for this year? Then I want you to break it down by the week. And then I want you to write down what you made last year. What was your gross revenue last year? And then I want you to write down what were your net profits last year. Why? Because the money is important. Because, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, maybe there might be one man that snuck through, or somebody's husband's watching. Business is about money. You're doing it because you want to provide something, fair and equal pay. Yes. Yes. You deserve fair and equal pay. Yes. Yes. Okay, so you got to ask yourself those questions. Then I ask, what product will help you meet your weekly money goals? Remember, we're back to the products. You see how everything builds upon, right? Every section of your building, of your business, builds upon the next, right? They all work together. How much do you need to allocate in marketing in order to make that happen? What do you need to learn, or who do you need to hire to move the needle towards executing on this? Right? These are the questions you want to be asking yourself. And then I want you to look here and say, okay, you see the grid. So the grid, and let me just share with you what the grid does. The grid helps you see, what do you want to offer? What is your main offer? And then what's going to lead you to the main offer? Now, in parentheses, it says launch event. These are for some of our clients. They know what that means. All that means is sometimes your lead offer could be a training. If it's not, just scratch that word out. You don't have to worry about that. Your lead offer, if it was a restaurant, we would call that a loss leader, right? That would be chips and salsa at a restaurant is a loss leader. A loss leader is something that people are willing to give up for basically free, that is going to lead people into spending money and investing in the next step. So whatever your main offer is for this month, write that down. And then what's going to lead people to the main offer? And then write down your pricing and your goals and how many you need based on the revenue, your weekly breakdown that you set up. And then as you can see, that first column says promo days. Well, when are you promoting for it? Because guess what? If it's already, let's just say it's April. Well, if you're going to be launching or selling something, or something you want to put more eyeballs on around that month, chances are you probably should have started promoting it before April. So this is to help you really get clear on what it is that you are specifically doing and working on. And that is I think one of the most important and key elements of this whole process is truly understanding, and I'm going to scroll back up to the top here, this blueprint and how everything is tied together. So
this was so good. All I see is on the money, just going down the screen on the money, because you hit on so much. And I've seen a few people that say, all I have is an idea. I mean, this was just a snippet of what she's able to offer. And honestly, just the blueprint, the downloadable workbook that she provided alone will get you so far if you follow that step by step. And I mean, honestly, Aprille has blessed so many with their businesses just by providing, just clear direction. And I think, so many of you were like on the money when she just talked about laying that foundation. Honestly, you cannot pass go. Do not go forward without having a clear understanding of who you are speaking to. I can honestly tell you that Tiffany and Literature Academy would not be where it is today if we did not understand clearly what your goals were, what your desires were, what your pain points were. And if you have been in the academy for a long time, you know that we are constantly evolving and we are constantly asking you for feedback because we're servicing you, and we're not going to just come up with ideas on our own without you all validating it and telling us what it is that you need. So I love that example of the health coach who thinks they know everything or thinks that because it's wellness that's the no. Sometimes it's a service, it's a tool or a skill that is needed. It's not necessarily a product. So I'm telling you, we know who to bring to you. Okay, Aprille laid it down tonight, and if you did not get that workbook, don't worry, it's inside the academy, and I'm going to drop it here in the links also. But she definitely set you up for success with that workbook alone, and she has something special to share too, also, so that you can get more information. You want to tell them a little bit more about it? I'm hyped.
Sure. So I'm supposed to be sharing. I'm sharing the training or I think I'm just sharing the training. So there is a longer training. The blueprint is actually 2 hours and 16 minutes long. And there's going to be a link that Tamara's going to provide inside of your academy. And in the academy, you'll be able to go through that whole process in a more thorough time period. This is just to get your palate wet so you know if I am the person you want to learn from, I'm gonna give you the business. Okay, so just know this is big girl business and you can still do this. And there is such an amazing opportunity right now for people to be innovative, for women to be innovative, and how you're attracting people to you, right? And how you're attracting people to you. And so I'm really excited about that, and about the fact that there's so many women that are taking controls over their life right now, So I know that we only have time for a couple of questions, and I want to make sure that I honor that. Do we? I'm not sure if we do, Tamara.
I did honestly, you were so clear. I didn't see anything come in. But
Okay.
if you all have any questions, no, I mean, she's giving you the opportunity to pick her mind right now, this beautiful mind of hers. So if you have any questions, we'll take 3 questions now to see if we can provide any more clarity. Otherwise, I'm looking, and once again, very informative, very clear, hashtag on the money the whole entire time. But you can always ask us inside of the Facebook group too, Dream Builders. For those of you who are brand new to the Academy, when this is over, inside of the Facebook group, you will see a post that says links and resources. You'll see Aprille's name. We'll tag her to the post. And if you have questions that pop up, every now and then she might just pop in to answer your questions. And then we also have the other dream builders here who have had great success in their business. And of course, the Unicorn Squad, which is what we call our member success team. And then, of course, Tiffany, we are in here to ask questions too. So the most important question is, how do we find you, Aprille? They want to know more about you. Where can they follow you? What's your website?
Absolutely. So you can find me inside my Facebook group, Domination Nation. It's all about women dominating, and you can just join it by going to joinaprille.com, and I'll type it. It's joinaprille.com. And if you go to joinaprille.com, you'll go right to our Facebook group, join, make sure you answer the questions, and then we'll let you in. And so we'll be able to do that. And then what I will do as well is I can pop in the group and answer any questions. I see a couple, so I don't know if you want to take them or not, but I can do that because I want to make sure everyone gets what they need. And but yeah, if you go to joinaprille.com, take you right to my group, Domination Nation. And you'll be able to, from there, connect with us and kind of hang out and really rock it out with your business, because that's all it's about, is about growing your audience, so that you can continue to exactly what Tiffany is saying and what Tamara is saying inside of Live Richer Academy, which is live richer, which is gain more and get more of you out into the marketplace, and in exchange, that financial abundance.
Okay, so there you go, guys. That's all the information you need as far as where to find her. And once again, we also have that inside of the academy, and it'll also be inside of the Facebook group. And then I do see two questions that we can probably make, more generic, so everyone can kind of get an answer for this. But in a nutshell, people are asking where should they put their focus first? Is it on website or on the social media platforms, or do you suggest a specific social media platform before the others?
So it's really not necessarily about your website as much as it is about where are you wanting to lead people to. So where are you wanting? So that's the thing, right? What are you offering that's going to help people? What if it's, let's just say it's a program or a digital product? Where is that leading people to? That's really the important thing. It's really not about your per se website, that has your bio, and it's not really about that. It's about the thing that's going to solve the problem for your avatar in that moment of their need, and really getting connected to that. That's the most important thing, is what are you selling and what's leading people to what you're selling to help solve their problems.
Yes, and then I saw a question in here that said, "Is this blueprint good for filmmakers?" And to me, I'll let you, of course, you answer that question, but I just thought that was a great question as far as different areas of expertise or focus.
Yeah, because because business is business.
Yeah.
And so I produced two films. So I have two films that I produced. I produced a short film. And the reason why I was so successful in my Kickstarter and that we were overfunded for our film is because I already had an audience. It's because we already had an infrastructure. It's because we already knew how to market. And so the answer is yes. This is fun. This is business fundamentals. Now, there's some nuances you can take out for service-based industries, but business fundamentally is the same. The same things that Subway needs in place: operations, branding, products, marketing, monetization, is the same thing you need in your business or your mission or your movement. If this were a nonprofit, it would be the same thing. If you had a zoo, you still need all of the same components. So it's business is business at the end of the day.
Yeah. And the final question we'll take for tonight is, I am planning to use a webinar as a way to build my email list. Is this a good strategy?
It's a great strategy if you're pouring gasoline on it.
Mm.
So if you're pouring Miracle Grow on it, you're pouring gasoline on it, or you're partnering with people that have audiences to help grow your list, it is a fantastic strategy.
Awesome. There's your answer, guys. So, I mean, all of you are in the right place mentally. I definitely felt the energy in here, and it just sounds like, some people just needed a little extra push, and they needed to know a little bit more about the Miracle Grow. So she gave you everything you need to get it up and running. And just really quick, someone said, "How do you find inexpensive but good help in the beginning?" I would definitely say the Dream Builder community is always amazing. Usually your personal network. And then she mentioned during the class resources like Fiverr, Upwork. But if you know someone, and also asking other people who they use so that you know that that person is credible, is always amazing. Word of mouth is beautiful. So let's all just thank Aprille for joining us tonight and giving us her time during this lovely Sunday evening. I know this is going to be replayed, but y'all, we in quarantine right now. We've been up in the house and we've been making magic happen. And once again, you guys can be cuddled up, Netflix and chilling, or just kind of getting your night and just having like a moment to yourself. But you are here focusing on your business and on your personal finance. So thank you so much for joining us. You all can see us inside of the Facebook group to ask any questions that you may have. And you have all the information that you need to follow Aprille. Please do. You are doing yourself a service by doing so. So again, thank you so much, Aprille. And then really quick, I do want to tell you all about what's going on this week, which is really great. It's a great opportunity for you to share the resources that you have access to with anyone that you know and love. So knowing Tiffany and her heart, and her being a heart of service, we have been working really hard behind the scenes, trying to find ways to get you all through this time and provide as much information as possible. So all this week, she has collaborated with several people to help you navigate through these uncertain times financially. You should have received an email about it. But just to really quick tell you what's going on this week. On Monday, we have EC. She's going to walk you through how to land your dream job when no one is hiring. Lord, we're going to figure out a way to get people hired. Ash Cash is going to join you to show you how to master your mind and manifest abundance during times of uncertainty. Dawn is going to talk about strengthening your immune system on a budget with things you already have at home. And Nicole Lapin is going to show you how to negotiate your way to lower bills, interest rates, and more, including savings. So all of this information is free and open to the public. You just have to go to, let me see, I don't think I see the link. Oh, there it is. And I'll type it in. It's budgetnistacrisisclasses.com. And this is information that you can share with friends and family. It's not in the academy. This is going to be public information. Tiffany just wants to help as many people as possible so that we all can land on our feet. Because as Aprille mentioned, she talked about those stories, right? And her story is a recession. She went through foreclosure. She went through hard times, lost her job and everything. And look what came out of that pain. Look at the lesson and blessing that came through all of that. She is here today teaching you. So this is your time to, get it together. So thank you so much one last time, Aprille, for joining us. Your time is so valuable to us.
Thank you so much.
And we just appreciate you. And we just hope everyone stays safe during this time. And we are just blossoming. That's what we're doing right now. We're blossoming. So thank you all. Have a good night and take care.